Hi guys, it's Wayne from Wayne Government Photography and Wayne's Got Gas. I've got the A7R2 here again, and I've got here with me a adapter, and this adapter it basically allows the A7R2, A7, A7R, A7S, all those lot, all A7 II, and the NEX cameras as well, so like the NEX6 and the A6000, all those, to work with Canon lenses. And up until the A7R2, well, they haven't really worked very well, which is why until now I haven't gone to this system. However, it seems that Sony have really put some effort into this, and there's quite a few of these adapters out. There's one that's called a Metabones. Now that was like the original one, and it's very expensive, but there's now, you know, it's about 2 or 3 years on, and there's now some alternatives out there. So I didn't want to spend, I think it's about 300 and something pounds on the Metabones, and I do believe it is the best. Apparently it is very, very quick to focus and things like that, but it's 300 and odd pounds, and I've already spent a lot on this camera. So what I decided to do was go with one here. It's called Commlite. Don't know if you can see that. Basically, Commlite, they make an alternative, and it looks the same. It's very, very well made. I don't know how well it'll last over time, but I have no reason, you know, from first glance to believe that it would be anything that wouldn't work well for a long time to come. But there have been the odd reports of sort of issues here and there developing, but I guess you sort of take that risk if you buy something like this. For me, it will be an important part of the product and the whole system, so I do hope it works well. But on the face of it, very well made, nice metal construction everywhere. I mean, there's no, I think this bit here, the release is plastic, but that's the only plastic thing that I think I can see on it. The other good thing is the Metabones, I believe that you can't remove the tripod mount, and I use one of these sometimes, which is a tilt shift lens, and the tilt shift lens has sort of these, can you see where my finger is there, like these gears to sort of turn the lens around, shift it, and various things like that. It's for architecture, and with the tripod mount on the Metabones, I believe that can get in the way, whereas with this, with the Commlite, just a bit of a twist there, and that actually comes off. So now you've got a totally circular unit, and therefore it shouldn't actually get in the way now. The reason you would have this though, and be warned about this, is because DSLR lenses are pretty heavy. You don't realise it, but when you go sticking it on a mount, you suddenly feel the weight, and also obviously it's further out from the body, so that sort of unbalances it even more. And when you've got a lens like something like this, which is the 70-200 Canon, with an extender on it, that becomes a lot of weight. So if you were using a monopod or a tripod, something along those lines, you would need this basically, because you'll mount it from that point. So that's just a quick idea of how it looks. I'll leave that off for now. What I'll do is, now my battery's going on this camera, so I hope I get all this in, but basically I'll give you a comparison. This is the A7R2, and it's got the 35mm Carl Zeiss 2.8 on it. Okay, so that's going to give you a proper idea of how fast that this focuses. Okay, so if you watch my finger, in fact what I'll do is I'll turn the audio back on, because I actually turned that off before, because I don't generally use that. So just give me 2 seconds and I'll actually switch that back on. So if we have that and that, and I'll put the volume right up so you can hear it. Okay, and now if I hit the button, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, it's not got a very good close focus in this lens. So you can see from one end of the keyboard, it's basically instantaneous, and it's very accurate as well. So we'll turn that off now, and we'll take the Sony lens off, and we will put this adapter on. So you see it just goes on as a lens would. And then we've got, say, this 40mm so the 40mm Canon lens now. So we'll just put that on again, just same as you would on your 60 or whatever you have. Turn the camera back on. Now there is actually a setting that's very important for you to recognise, and it's basically in the settings, when I can find it. If you don't choose this, it will actually crop. So you don't want it to crop, because then it's as if here it is. So it's under a little cog, and then it's number 6, APS-C Super 35mm. Now that's set to, I think, auto by default. If it's on auto or on, then it's probably going to default to it anyway. And basically, what it does is, instead of having the full 42 megapixels for starters, you'll have 18, and it will crop by a 1.6 factor. So say 10mm, if that even exists, would become 16mm. You know, whereas if you've not got that on, 10mm is 10mm. So we'll just have a look at this. So can you hear it hunting a bit? So now it's got a similar close focus distance. It is more sluggish, this lens. This is just a very cheap lens, but punches so well above its weight, this lens. It's incredible. And I think it cost me about £100. It's a 40mm 2.8. When you compare that, that's about £500, and it's a 35mm 2.8. If you look at DxOMark, places like that, they get very similar sharpness results. But I've not taken any proper pictures with this camera yet to compare the corners, things like that, but they seem incredibly similar on the face of it. 35mm to 40mm, it's very, very similar, and some people even prefer 40mm. I could go to 40mm, but I couldn't go to 50mm. That wouldn't be what I'm used to. So 35mm and 40mm, very similar. I'll try and get some actual images, you know, for some proper comparisons, but overall performance very, very similar, and a massive difference in price between the two. So if you've spent all your money on the body and you're thinking, well, I want just a regular prime lens to walk about with, travel with, maybe a good idea to consider this Canon 40mm, because out of all the lenses in the world, it is honestly, it's absolutely amazing value for money. So just a bit of a tip there, maybe to consider it. I've turned the camera off, so I'm just going to take this lens off now. Now I've got here, I've got a Tamron, which is, it's a Canon fitment. I've got a Tamron 24-70. Now I've played about with it on this adapter. It's not as fast as it is on the 6D, but it's not terrible. It's not terribly front heavy either. So you might just get away with just hand holding this, you know. I don't know, I mean, it feels solid. I don't know if you'd stick it on a tripod on the actual body. I think again you would use that little adapter on the mount. And if we stick it on 24mm, autofocus is on. I've turned the VC off because I don't know if that'll interfere or not, but anyway. So now what I'm finding is it did hunt a lot before. Let me just try a... Yeah, you see, I'm getting the odd issue with this. It seems to work better when it's zoomed out. So I wouldn't take this lens as working absolutely perfectly. Because can you hear that? I don't know if you can actually hear it. Yeah, that sort of chattering noise. And that's what I seem to be getting from this lens. But we are close up. But even trying it away from the camera and, you know, trying to sort of zoom in on top of something on my printer there, it's not really behaving itself. So I think it probably will behave itself if you play about with it enough. But reliable, I'm not so sure. I think for me personally, I think I'm gonna stick to using that on something like a Canon 7D, something like that, because it just doesn't seem to want to work. So what I might actually have to do at some point is forget the whole lot and just go to sort of the Sony equivalent, you know, because it's a good range at 24 to 70. It's a really useful sort of range, so I don't really want to lose the facility of it. I have tried this being, like I said before, the 70 to 200 f2.8 IS USM. So it's the first iteration of the 70 to 200 from Canon. I've got this on it, which is a 2x adapter, so obviously the lens becomes a lot smaller once you've got just that on it. But with this, I tried it before. Now it does work, but it hunts a little bit, and I mean, for me personally, I use this lens for sort of motorsport photography, stuff like that. I don't think it would behave itself properly. I think I would miss quite a few shots with it. So again, I think I'll stick to the 7D with this. But the good thing is, if you did use it and you wouldn't, you know, if it was for portraits, things like that, and you're not too bothered, obviously you can use the crop factor of the A7R2. With this combination, you would end up at something like 640mm zoom at a minimum of f5.6. So that's pretty good if the situation is right. Obviously you can manual focus it as well, but I wouldn't like to manual focus on a Formula 1 car doing 200 miles an hour. I don't think it's particularly viable. So, you know, it's a good thing. It will work if it needs to, but just be, you know, these adapters aren't perfect by any means. Until Canon or Sony release one, if they ever do, I think we're all going to sort of struggle, because it seems to be the amount of firmware updates that are needed for the things and stuff. It just doesn't seem to come through that fast. So the Commlite actually can't be updated. The Metabones can. You can get new firmware for them. So maybe that makes big differences. I don't know. So maybe if you need sort of a sports lens, just make sure you try it first, because I'd hate for you to sort of get it, think, oh, it's going to work great, and then it doesn't do. So it's you know, it's a good lens, but whether it will work so well, we'll see. Right, so that's my review over. If you want to leave any comments, ask me any questions, you can do so down below this video, or you can get my website is www.wayne-goodman.co.uk, and you can happily email me through there, no problem at all. And yeah, and just thumbs up the video, subscribe to me, because I'll try and put some more videos out. I'll try and sort of get some shots up of the A7R2 for you, because I know there's not too many about at the minute. It's quite a new camera, only came out here in the UK yesterday, really. So you know, I think I'm probably one of the first people to actually have made use of it so far, because most people will probably get theirs today in the post. So yeah, but comments, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks.